Welcome to the Fret Frontier. This is a user choice episode. We're working on the song Landslide. The guitar part to the chorus of Landslide has a distinctive sounding bass line pattern. So this is what the chorus would sound like. And notice we've got a lot going on the sixth string, and that's where our bass line will be. That's our D, and then we go to our G. We're running a bass line down there. Okay, so that we want to capture that kind of a sensation, that kind of a movement happening in the bass. Okay, so when we are entering the chorus, we're transitioning by playing the D chord. So in this case, we are going to be using that D in the bass. And from there, we want to get a sound of a descending bass line. So how are we going to do that? If we just go to our G chord, which is the next chord that we need to play here, and we go to our E minor, there's just not enough movement there. So let's take a look at what we have available on that fourth string. So we have D, E, F, G. Okay, and in this case, we're interested in the F sharp, right? Because when we were playing this D chord, that's what we were borrowing on the guitar before we go over to that G chord. We were doing a F sharp in the bass, okay? So we're going to be interested in finding an F sharp, and we just did, right? D, E, F sharp, okay? And we'll start off with a G to get that descending sound, and G fits in the G chord. Okay, and the name of this chord will be the G with no fifth. Okay, you'll see that on your handout, and the reason for that is we don't have a D in this G chord anymore once we do that, right? Our D was on that fourth string. Now we'll be covering it up. So our G chord is G is the root, G, A, B, B is the third, B, C, D, D is the fifth. So if we get rid of that D, now we don't have a fifth. So that's fine. This is a G with no fifth. Okay. And then we're going to get that movement that we were getting before on the guitar by playing that D as a slash chord. So we had the D with the F sharp in the bass, okay, which is also on that first string, right? We have an F sharp for our D. We're going to use the F sharp that we have on our fourth string to mimic that, okay? And we're going to stay right where we are in that G chord. Okay, and then we'll come down to our E minor. And that's going to give us that same sensation. The ear is going to accept that as an interesting pattern that is comparable to what was happening on the guitar. Naturally, we're in a higher range, a higher timbre, because this is a guitar without the fifth and sixth string, basically, right? So everything's going to sound a little bit higher because you don't hear those bass strings, but that doesn't mean you can't have a bass line. So this is what our pattern, our finger picking pattern looks like for the chorus. And remember, when we're playing a song, we want to kind of mix up our finger picking patterns. We had this for our verse. Okay, so let's do something else for our chorus. And what we're going to do, let's look at the finger picking pattern first. We're going to go thumb on the fourth string. And then we'll do our third string and first string together. And then our second string, that's the first part of it. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and one more time. 1, 2, and. Then the second half of the measure will have this pattern. 4, 1, 3, 2. Let's do that again. 4, 1, 3, 2. Those are our string names, right? Okay. And I'm doing here. I'm doing thumb, index, thumb, index. Okay. And you can do it however you want. If you'd like to do the pattern differently, put that second finger assigned to the first string, and and the first finger assigned to the second string. Have the thumb alternating back and forth. Whatever feels comfortable for you, go ahead and do that. But what we're looking for is that pattern, playing the strings in that order to that timing. Let's put it together. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay? Now our chord progression, I'll bring it up, and we are going to be, there's nothing new in here that we haven't talked about here. We've got the same chords we had before, except for these new ones we added. So the G with no 5. And you'll see in your notation that this movement of this bass line turns this chord into a G major 7 with F sharp in the bass. And we're also substituting it for the sound of that D with the F sharp, the slash chord, the D slash F sharp. Now, do you need to know all that theory? No. What you need to know is you're chasing that bass line sound, and you're looking for things that sound complementary as you move along. If it sounds good, then you're in the right place. It's sounding pleasant. It's giving you that impression that you want of how you're used to hearing the song on the guitar. You've got this movement happening in the bass line, and it's going to sound just fine. So always engage your ear as you're making these decisions, and what you're thinking when you're playing it, if you had been bringing it off of the guitar, is, well, I need my G note, I need an F note. When I change that F note, is it necessary for me to do anything else? No, it's sounding okay, so I don't have to grab a D and try to do all this kind of extra maneuvering. This is just fine. E minor. Okay, let's go ahead and play this. 2, 3, 4, G, no 5. Then we have that F sharp, E minor, and we're staying on the E minor. C, G with D, A minor, D, and that brings us right back to that bass line, because we're going to repeat that. Now we're on the F sharp, we have that E minor, we're playing that 2 measures, C, D, A minor, D, and that will bring us right back to a verse. And what will help the ear know something has changed, we're back to the verse, is we're switching to that finger-picking pattern. So we use those finger-picking patterns. If you wanted to just play the same finger-picking pattern through the whole song, you could. But if you were playing with other people, or you have people singing along with you and you want to give them a kind of a cue to their ear, they can judge from those stylistic decisions that you made. The verse has this finger-picking pattern, the chorus has this finger-picking pattern, and people can kind of gear into that and hear where you are. Okay, so there we are. Let's go ahead now and sing the chorus with that. Let's put our words in. Let's start with the D. So we're going to be coming off of a verse, so let's just do the D on 4, and then into our chorus we'll be singing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. Back to that D. Time makes us bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older. Okay, so get that part down, and your last task is to put them together. Sing your verses, move to your chorus, and come back to your verses smoothly, and we'll do that in the next episode.